So welcome guys to mufc Red Devil NCR. I'm your host and दोस्त पुलकित. आज की शो में मेरे साथ पैनल्स है रोहित भाई after very long time and वैभव भाई. So we are covering about the preview for Everton versus United at Goodison Park. And it's actually a very crucial game somehow because Everton has turned out very good in defense. And kudos to Frank Lampard for turning the tables around and also with the signing of Connor Cody in their team. So coming to Rohit bhai, first of all, welcome bhai to the show after a long time. It's great to see you. आपका क्या विचार है इस गेम के बारे में?
Thanks for having me, guys. And look, this game is going to be a very tough one. When the season was about to start, I was of the thinking that Everton will again be in that relegation zone, but थोड़े से उन्होंने एट द लास्ट ऑफ ट्रांसफर विंडो उन्होंने 2-3 साइनिंग्स करी थी. नील मॉपे भी आई गेस लेके आए थे वो काफी जल्दबाजी में. सो दे हैव मेड अ फॉर्मिडेबल टीम एंड लैम्पार्ड हैज बीन गुड इवन दो his tactics would be like getting second balls, winning second balls, long balls and all, but he is making things happen, and they have been unbeaten in their last 6 games. They have 2 wins and 4 draws. So yes, as you said, their defense is very good, and I believe so that they will be more like on the low blocks बना के रहेंगे अब हमारे against, because they know that is their weakness. That is something we cannot cope. So the biggest challenge will be here कि वो low block को कैसे फिर से we need to get overcome of that low blocks. I guess Martial will start. 2 games from the bench, goals, and making a huge impact. So Martial will start. Anthony, you will have to start him because in that City game, if there was anyone who gave you something positive of that game was Anthony. So I believe it will be between Rashi and Sancho on the left side, and I'll go with Rashi. Sancho hasn't done a lot, and last game maybe his Europa game performance was very bad. So I'll go with Rashi, Martial, and Anthony as my front three.
Coming to Weber Pro, could you tell us about our wonderful defense? What will be that?
Very tough because we're literally very thin on our defense. Varane has a niggle. He's a 50-50. Maguire, as we know, is out. Malacia, he's had 2 terrible games, and Wan-Bissaka, he's pretty much dumped in the cold by Erik ten Hag. So I think it's going to be Dalot as right back with Martinez and Lindelof, and it's a toss-up between Luke Shaw and Malacia. It's certainly a very, very important game. It's a win-win. It's a very important game league-wise. We need to cover up. We need to close that gap between the top 2, Arsenal and Man City, for now, and give ourselves a fair amount of chance. So do you go with a seasoned pro like Luke Shaw, or do you sort of continue with Malacia? So I think that is going to be a very tough situation, a very 50-50 chance. I think this game is very important, and defensively, we need to do very well. We need to, as Rohit mentioned, Everton are very good at long balls and hitting on the brakes. So I think Luke Shaw, with his experience, can be very effective. So I think in my defensive unit, I would go with Dalot, Martinez, Lindelof, or Varane if he's available, and Luke Shaw. So yeah, that would be my back 4.
Coming to Rohit bhai, so I'm talking about midfield, which is one of the position which we are picking up. Isko nikalo, isko dalo, isko nikalo for Erik ten Hag. And I'm going to ask this question to both. First Rohit bhai, then Weber bhai. That like my preference would be Casemiro, Bruno and Eriksen. I will go because I'm not underrating Everton because they are not in that good position in Premier League right now. They are above Liverpool, that's good, but not above us, so that's good. So मेरा क्वेश्चन है आपका फ्रंट 3, आपका मिड 3 पिक क्या होगा, लाइक मिडफील्ड 3 पिक?
See, Bruno and Eriksen will be there. There's no doubt about it. ये दो तो रहेंगे. Now there is always a toss between Casemiro and McTominay. Casemiro का I guess Europa की जो outing थी वो भी that wasn't very impressive from what I have thought of his performance. So it will be a huge toss-up whether you back against Scott McTominay, who was very poor in City game. But to be honest, in City game everybody was poor. So I'll go with McTominay. I'll go with McTominay.
And coming to Weber,
McTominay, yes, McTominay, Bruno, and
Eriksen,
yes,
लॉक कर दिया जाए.
yes.
लॉक कर दिया जाए. So coming to Weber, what will be Everton midfield three, to be honest, because now they have got a lot of options. James Garner, Onana, Allen, like Allen left, and then you have options like in attack you can play in midfield like Iwobi as a cam, or like a player like Anthony Gordon who is starting to play as a cam also, because Mope and Gray are playing like right forward and left forward.
I think Everton's midfield is very, very peculiar because Everton is a team which plays pretty defensive. So, I can see Onana being changed. He's not particularly very good against Southampton. I believe Iwobi and Idris Gueye has been decent enough for them. And, Mope as a false nine, Mope, you know, sort of being that, the attacking midfielder slash striker has been decent again. But yeah, again, you may see a Decore or maybe a Jimmy Garner because, I think Arteta, sorry, not Arteta. I think Lampard would look to strengthen his midfield, considering he's coming up against somebody like a United, who he knows has the quality to, get the ball through their midfield, literally carve the midfield open. So I think Arteta, again, I think Lampard would decide to make some change. I can see Onana going to the bench and, maybe Decore or Jimmy Garner getting a gig at this game this time around.
Jimmy Garner may have a point to prove against us.
Yes, very much.
Yes.
रोहित भाई, coming to you, like James Garner की घर वापसी तो नहीं हो रही, मतलब हम उसकी वापसी कर रहे हैं. So we had some big expectations from James Garner to be in this season, because now I'm realizing that guy should be there in this team after several. We are seeing that like McFred to Curry जो हो रहे हैं best. So could you see a Garner could have been better option with Eriksen and Bruno visions?
No, I don't know. I never saw Garner play. All I knew about him was through some of the articles that were written, and they applauded him a lot for his performance in the championship. But if Ten Hag as a manager decided that he doesn't need him, then it's fine. I'm not into that nostalgia that he's from my academy and all. I don't give any consideration all that. If manager decided that he doesn't require him in the team, then it's fine. So not much into what would have happened if Garner would have been in our squad. No, nothing like that.
And coming to Weber, we are predicting this quick question that we hadn't won against Everton. That's pretty true. Like last season, we जो पहला game था, what Townsend scored that goal, and वो draw एकदम defeat जैसा लग रहा था. Then again, we played against Frank Lampard and Anthony Gordon, what a goal. And it was Ralph Rangnick ball, so can't say much. बेचारा वो भी मजबूरी में आया था. So, what do you want to say about this meetup at Goodison Park?
I think it's going to be different. Last year it was pretty different circumstances. You had Ollie, who was literally coming out of his depth. Ragnick, who I think players had given up on him from the very first day. I think this time around it's going to be different. It's going to be different, but it's going to be difficult. As you mentioned earlier on, Everton have got the best defensive record. So I can see Frank Lampard being very happy with a draw. Even a 1-1 or a 0-0. He would absolutely love a draw at this point of view. And I think for us, it's very, very crucial that, we get our season up and running in the Premier League this time around. And this would be the opportunity, get the momentum in, because we've got Everton right now. Next week, we've got an Europa League game. Win those 2 games, high on confidence, go against Tottenham and, your other fixtures and try and gain that momentum. It's going to be very difficult. Goodison Park is never an easy place to go to. It's very hostile. They've got really passionate fans who are going to get under your skin. But I think at the moment, the quality which we have compared to, let's say, somebody like an Everton, we should get a result. I believe, if it's even if it's a scrappy penalty or a dodgy VAR decision, I do believe we can get a result against Everton and Frank Lampard. Ollie got what, 4 wins against Frank Lampard, so I can definitely see Eric Ten Hag doing something good on in Goodison Park. But then again, it's gonna be a tough game. Like I said, gonna be a very very tough game. We would have to fight tooth and nail to get a result in that game.
Coming to anxiety भाई, like आपको पता है हमारे अगले फिक्चर्स are Everton, Tottenham and Newcastle, and like Tottenham and Newcastle are playing really good, to be honest. Like Newcastle shocked Manchester City, then Tottenham is shocking everyone. Of course, they got one of the harassing defeat in the North London derby, but it's Antonio Conte ball, and we know that how good he is with the team he's making right now, Tottenham. So आपका इसमें क्या views है? Like, could we see that Eric Ten Hag on the wheel, or still giving him time?
See, I totally understand that there is a process that a manager goes through, but at this point of a time, what I believe is winning is a part of that process. And until or unless somehow, anyhow, if you don't manage to get wins, like Webb said, there has to be any certain way in which we can get a win, be it through a VAR or whatever decisions, anything. We need to get that win anyhow, because if you don't win here, your last match performance again in Europa wasn't good. Then you lose here against Everton. Then this is going to be a very what you say. Players will be down on confidence. So a win is required. Even a draw would not do a favors to us. We need to win this anyhow somehow. So we need to play good aggressive football, and we need, as you said, Antonio Conte ball. That's a whole different thing. But yes, Everton is a side. If you look onto the paper, their side and all, we need to win this. We can win this. Absolutely, I'm sure about it.
Coming to the conclusion of the video, I'm going to talk about Bade Bhaiya, like Ronaldo. We don't know that either he's starting, he's not starting. Abhi Sports Bible ने article निकाला है that Ronaldo is set to stay at Manchester because the forwards are not getting any offers in January also. And ऐसा लग रहा है कि he's gonna stay. So, and Rohit bhai, you being a big admirer of Ronaldo, you have seen him playing from as a debutant to this GOAT level. क्या views उनके बारे में कुछ हिंदी में बताएंगे तो अच्छा लगेगा.
भाई चल रहा है, खेल रहा है वो, कभी ना कभी ही विल स्कोर गोल. ऐसा नहीं है कि गोल्स नहीं आएंगे. एंड काफी ये अभी हो चुका है कि प्रेस नहीं करता है, ये नहीं करता है, वो इन्वॉल्व नहीं होता है, बॉल होल्ड नहीं कर पाता है, विच इज ट्रू, विच वी आर सीइंग इन दीज मैचेस. बट रोनाल्डो है 699 क्लब गोल्स करके बैठा हुआ है. somehow he will find that spark in him and he will be back. I'm not very bothered about him. I'm not into that playing that sympathy card to him that oh he was in depression and all. मेरे को नहीं मतलब है उससे. As a professional footballer, he will be back soon on the pitch.
Coming to Weber, I guess you have decoded Erik's Ten Hag morning press conference in which he stated clearly that Varane is doubtful, Maguire is out for 2 weeks, and टीम की हालत काफी खराब है बेसिकली. लाइक स्क्वाड डेप्थ है नहीं, तो अकेडमी से लोग आएंगे, इकबाल, मैकनील, पेलेस्ट्री, एंड ऑफ कोर्स बड़े भैया एंड कासिमिरो भैया. So what's your views on that?
Look, I think I've been on it from the very first day itself. To go toe-to-toe against a team like Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, you need to have that squad depth. You cannot have you cannot have a Phil Jones and an Axel Tuanzebe and Brandon Williams injured, so you cannot move them on. You're just literally stuck with them. Look, I'm all for playing the youth. It's very good. Manchester United has always been about developing the youth. But then at this moment of time, it's not about development. It's about covering it's become literally about covering for the players we don't have, and that's not how you develop a youth, right? Because you are not being fair to the youth player, Like let's say somebody like a Zidane Iqbal or let's say somebody like a McNeil, they should come into the team with a proper plan and with a proper process, right? They should not come into the team because the first team players have been very, very bad, or because you do not have a strong bench, that can be very, very toxic for those young players. You do not want them to be very toxic. I feared that with Jimmy Garner, when last year McTominay and Fred were, playing consistently and we did not have anyone, and people were like, let's call Garner back from the loan. We just need to be very, very careful, as to how we use our youth, because it can go two ways around. You can be very good and you can be very bad at the same time, because the expectations, not just of playing in the Premier League, mind you, the expectations of playing for United, who've got a history of, bringing in champion youth players, is massive. I think we need to invest more in our squad. It's simple as that. We need to have that level of like for like replacement. Today, if Malaysia has a bad game, you can get in a Luke Shaw. Today you've got options on. I wouldn't say really the like for like. I mean, I wouldn't say like for like options, but you do have some options in the midfield area. With Fred, Casemiro, McTominay, and Eriksen, and if you count out Donny in that. So, and in attack, again, you've got plenty of options, with the youngsters and, with Sancho and Anthony and Martial and Rashford. I think Eric Ten Hag squad rotation is going to be key. But then how he does it with the players he's got, a lot of them have been injured. A lot of them haven't performed well. They've been underperforming a lot. Like I said, it's a challenge. He needs to win. There's a huge expectation, but it's going to be really, really hard. And the upcoming few matches are definitely going to show us what this whole team and the manager is all about. What sort of characteristics they have in them. They're here either to sing or to swim. Simple as that.
So Rohit bhai, आपका score prediction क्या है? Like who will be your scorers and what will be your full-time score? And first half, अगर second half को different करो तो which will be more interesting to see and be happy about this feeling?
See, we will have to maintain the same intensity in both the halves, and score line मेरे हिसाब से we will get a 3-1. एक 3-1 win मिलेगा हमें. 2 goals from Martial and 1 from Ronaldo.
And what about Vaibhav? Similar to Rohit bhai or something different you are thinking?
I think, Everton, they are a team, they're a mid-table team, but then again, with the defensive record they've got and, how good Lampard has been with them, how watertight their defense has been, you can see it being a very scrappy game, wherein, they can just hold on to the ball, play that boring football and, be happy with a draw. I would love us to go for a win. I do think we have the players and the capability to win against Everton at Goodison Park. It could be a 1-0 or maybe a 2-0 win. I'll go with the positive result. I think a 2-0 win. Bruno Fernandes, he always tends to do well against Everton. And Everton has this problem of giving space to the attacking midfielder of their opponents. So I think Bruno Fernandes and Anthony Martial will score for me. So yeah.
For me personally, I will go with a dodgy and a dirty 1-0 win to us. मेरे को win से मतलब है 3 point हो हम points में ऊपर जा रहे हैं. It's simple for me.
Exactly, you and I.
Like because we know that Connor Cody will come in front towards corners and counters, and we are very good in counters, to be honest. Though our attackers are not consistent, but when उनको one-on-one chances मिल रहे हैं, they are scoring right now. So I believe in this counter attack game again, and I guess my scorer is Rashford. He can. He has to. Player of the month September का करना पड़ेगा. So I go with Rashford, and that's all from my side. आपका host और दोस्त पुलकित takes leave. Don't forget to subscribe, like, subscribe, share, and follow mufc Level NCR on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So see ya, adios. मैं Vaibhav bhai and Rohit bhai आपसे लेते हैं, and it was great. Like big shout out to Rohit bhai to come to the show, bhai. GGMU.
Thanks guys. GGMU.
GGMU.